Hello and welcome to The Sand Dance, my adventures in North Africa with Rommel. This is Operation Compass, 9th of December 1940. Compass was the first large-scale operation by British forces in North Africa. The Western Desert Force conducted a 5-day raid against the Italian 10th Army. Over the next 2 months, the Italians lost 138,000 prisoners, hundreds of tanks, more than 1,000 guns and many aircraft. However, further exploitation by the Western Desert Force was impossible due to the worn-out vehicles and a diversion of troops to other theatres. This scenario is the first day's attack on the Italian fortified positions south of Sidi Barrani by the 4th Indian Division. This is the area south of Sidi Barrani, and the area encompassed by the black rectangle will be the table for my game. The 4th Indian Division hooked behind the Italian camps and actually attacked from the west and northwest. There were other troops involved in Operation Compass, moving along the coast and further inland, but these are outside the scope of this game. Looking at the area of operations in closer detail, north is on the left, south is on the right, so we will be attacking from the bottom of the table, which is the west. There are 3 main camps: Nibeiwa, Tuma West and Tuma East. And these are the Italian troop dispositions in those camps. The 2nd Libyan Division split between Tuma West and East, with 3rd Infantry Group and 4th Infantry Group defending them respectively, and in Nibeiwa the Maleti Group, which is a divisional sized organisation. The 4th Indian Division will be attacking from the west, as previously said. Phase 1 will be the attack on Nibeiwa by the 11th Indian Brigade, supported by 7 Royal Tank Regiment, which are core troops, along with the divisional artillery, which will remain southeast of the camps throughout the operation. And Phase 2, the attack by 5 Indian Brigade against the Tuma West and Tuma East positions, hopefully supported by the remnants of the Matildas from 7 RTR. So here's how that transposes to my table. The 2 boxes, the black one top left is the Italian supply area, and the red one bottom right is the British supply area. This will be a game of 16 turns. The British will start with 6 ops dice, the Italians 3. Italian intelligence and communications was poor, so their forces cannot react until they are attacked. For victory, the British are to seize a minimum of 2 camps. Anything else is an Italian victory. The Italian forces are as follows: 2nd Libyan Division, consisting of mainly conscript infantry who are foot-borne, but they do have some good artillery in their support, as do the Maleti Group in Nibeiwa, but they also have an M1139 tank battalion. All 3 camps will have prepared defensive positions. The 4th Indian Division, consisting of the 5th Indian Brigade and the 11th Indian Brigade, will have a lot of motorised infantry. However, they are supported by 2 units of 25 pounders, and they do have the support of 7 RTR, which are the core Matildas. 11th Infantry Brigade on their start line looking east. They've got the tanks of 7 RTR on their left flank, and it's the 3 battalions of the 2nd Queen Zone Cameron Highlanders, the 1st 6th Rajputana Rifles, and the 4th 7th Rajput Regiment. And further north, it's the 5th Indian Brigade awaiting Phase 2 of the operation to move towards Tuma West. And here it's the 1st Royal Fusiliers, the 3rd 1st Punjab Regiment, and the 4th 6th Rajputana Rifles. And this is Nibeiwa with the Maleti Group. 1st Infantry Group with the 1st Libyan Battalion and the 3rd Libyan Battalion, the conscript infantry. They've got the battalion of M1139 tanks, and to the rear right as we look, some support artillery. And to the north, the target of the 5th Indian Brigade is Tuma West and Tuma East, left and right respectively, with the 3rd Infantry Group on the left and the 4th Infantry Group on the right. They also have some guns in support, and in the far distance, on the edge of the table, is the Italian supply dump. And you'll note that all of the camps have 2 permanent defences already in position. Turn 1 and British ops roll. 6 dice. They get 6, but they've already got 6, so it's max 10. So for events, I've gone for off-road. Units using road movement this turn are not tipped. They can move again in tactical phase. And I think that's it for that. And tactical phase is another ops dice. Road movement phase for the 11th Indian Brigade. But 7 RTR will push further around to the left flank. Now it's tactical phase. Now although they're motorised, they can actually only go one, which they'll do. But 7 RTR will take on the Italian tanks. This first British attack is going heavy. It's a recce tasking. It's massed target and an airstrike. And also one of the units of 25 pounders is getting involved. And the Italians will play defence in depth. No lead armour unit because both tanks are attack value 2. So the British have strength 18, and that's because the artillery has been doubled. They get 1 shift up for airstrike, but 1 shift down because of defence in depth. However, they will strike first because of recce. 3, 2 hits. But that does mean the Italians are down to strength 7. And that's no effect. So Italian tanks are still there, but they've been hit heavy and the British will withdraw. Because that was a heavy use of ops dice by the British, that will be the end of turn for them. Now turn to Italians. And they'll get 5 ops dice for that. Right, so I think for the events, the Italians play surprise attack. Might not be that much of a surprise because they've just had a fight, but the Italian tanks will go against the Matildas, which means that the British can't play any tactics. 1 ops dice for the tactical phase. These infantry will remain in the camp. They've got their prepared positions. However, the Italian tanks will attack the Matildas. So Matilda's defence is 4, which is better than the Italian tank attack of 2. So that'll be advantage to them. But they're tipped, and this is what the Italians are hoping for. And no tactics because it's a surprise attack. The Italians are calling their artillery and play massed target, which means they'll double the value of their guns. And also reserve artillery, which means a shift up. The Italians are on strength 13 and the British on 6. 4 hits by the Italians there. And that's a pull roll by the British. They don't get their tank bonus, so no effect. So a good surprise attack by the Italians there. And then we'll fall back. Turn 3, British ops dice. Get 6. Which means they've got 10, and they are going to go for a surprise attack on Nibeiwa. The 1st 6th Rajputana Rifles, supported by the 4th 7th Rajput Regiment, will be attacking the Italians here. They've got defensive positions. They'll send some smoke in and get the artillery to support. British attack strength is 27, and I'm afraid the 3rd Libyan Battalion can only muster 9. British get a shift up as well. 5 hits by the British. Unable to absorb by that, but the Italians have done pretty well there, and it's 3 hits coming back on the British, who are tipped. And clearly 7 RTR were going to attack the Italian tanks again. They'll call for reserve artillery and get a shift up, so they'll be on strength 11. No tactics from the Italians, they're on strength 7. 3 hits by the British and 2 by the Italians. Correction, the Italians were tipped, so they're half strength. Just the 1 hit back from them. And the British withdraw. That's the end of the turn. Turn 4, and it's the Italians. 5 ops dice. Well, their armour is suffering at the moment, so I'm going to do a reorganise armour for 2. Otherwise they are going to be pretty much buggered. I'm thinking that can happen immediately. Therefore we're into the tactical phase for 1 ops dice. And this battalion again will attack the Matildas. The Italians will be supported by their artillery, and they'll bang some smoke in. Now once again the Matildas' defence is 4, so they'll have a lead tank unit here. However, they are tipped, so the British strength is 4 and the Italian attacking strength is 8. Defenders 1 shift down because of the smoke. 2 hits by the Italians. And once again, I'm afraid, no hits by the British, so they can't take advantage of their tank superiority. The Italian tanks are doing a good job. British will do a reset on their ops file, 3 dice only. Oh dear, just get the 1. But they've still got 7. So they're struggling a bit in phase 1. The attack on Nibeiwa and certainly that Italian armour is doing a good job. So they've got to get rid of that. Their own armour is in danger of getting smashed up. So I think, again, it's a reorganisation of the armour. 2 ops dice. And straight into the ops phase for another. So once again, clash of the armour. Matildas smash into the Italians. They've got to try and finish them off. And the Rajputana Rifles and Rajput Regiment will again attack the Italians in their camp. The biggest threat to the British is the Italian tanks. They've got to finish them off. They'll bang some smoke in and play massed target. So the 25 pounders are supporting again, which means the British have a strength of 13 and the Italians 5. But I tell you what, the Italians are being sneaky and they're playing recce, which means they go first. But that is wasted. A poor attack there. And that was shifted down as well. Right, British attack going in finally. And that's 2 hits. And can you believe it, the Italians are still there. Have to withdraw again. Over to the attack on the Italian camp now. The Italians have lost their prepared positions, but they will have artillery in support, as will the British. And this time the British will play recce, so they will strike first. But the Italians are going to play attack broken up, therefore one of the British units doesn't make it. So that's 23 on the attack by the British, which is 4 hits, which means those Italians are smashed there. No defences to absorb, but they're still there, and old matey will fight back. Strength of 1, artillery in support 4. Unfortunately, no effect. But the British are still tipped and have not taken that position. And that's the end of turn. If I've done my maths right, it's turn 6. It's the Italians, and they've got to clear the ops board. So get a roll of 3. And they get 3. Which means they've got 5. Not a great deal. But they're doing a good number on the British and holding them up. I think, to be honest, the armour has pretty much had it because they're all down on strength 1 at the moment, even though there's 3 of them. So I won't do an event. No, I'll tell you what I will. I'll do surprise attack. So that's the event. That's 1 ops dice. They will do, straight into the ops phase, another ops dice, and then massed target on the British. So these Matildas are tipped. So this is a right ding-dong between the 2 armoured battalions. So the British can't use any tactics because of the use of surprise. Perhaps they are surprised that the Italians are still going. However, they do get the lead advantage with the tanks, which should be this unit. They're tipped, so the British are on strength 3. The Italians are strength 3. The guns will get involved. In fact, both of these guns. So that's 6. And one of them can be doubled. So that's going to be a total of 12 for the Italians. 3 hits on the British by the Italians. That's good going. I'm afraid that has destroyed them. And 1 hit coming back, which is 2 because of the strength of the Matilda in defence, which smashes 2 of those. Wow, carnage. And the Italians withdraw. Turn 7 for the British. 4 ops dice. Not brilliant. So that's a total of 5. Right, what to do? I don't think there's any events. I guess it's surprise attack. We can play that one and have another armour clash. Try and finish off those Italian tanks finally. And 1 for the tactical phase. Matildas are in again. Rajputanas and the Rajputs are in. Let's do them first. Not going to use any tactics here. And I don't think the Italians will either. They are going to get overrun. It's massively outnumbered. Italians are on strength 1. Strength 22 for the Brits with 25 with the artillery. Great surprise, that is them gone. No effect coming back. And the Rajputanas are in. One would hope the final attack here. Strength 2 going in on the tipped Italians. I guess they get 1. Artillery supporting the British, so that's strength 5. And just to put the nail in the coffin, let's get the airstrike in. Shift up 1 for the Brits. which is just as well, because that would have been no effect, but as it is, that kills off the Italians and they get nothing in return. Finally. Undoubtedly there'll be an operational pause after Nibeiwa has been secured, so it's another ops dice and the Brits are going to go again, and it's all attacking this battalion. So it's a flank attack because the Matildas are there, and they're also calling for artillery. Let's work out some numbers. No useful cards drawn for the Italians, so no tactics from them. British will play reserve artillery, so they get one shift up for that. They're flanking the enemy, that's another shift up, so 2 shifts up. Strength 27 for the British, 9 for the Italians. So only 6 hits on the Italians by the British there with those 2 shifts up. That takes 1. And 2 hits coming back on the British. And that'll go on the Queen's Own Cameron Highlanders. And the British are tipped. Italians are still there. So I think the Italians are now isolated. They've got various zones of control around them from the British troops. So that ain't good. I know you don't get surrender in Rommel, but they're probably about to have their last huzzah. Right, let's have a roll. That's another 5. So Italians have 7 ops dice now. Not quite sure what they can do. They've got the artillery still operational, so I guess they're going to go for it. So straight to the ops phase, 1 dice for that. They'll be attacking the Highlanders, and they might as well go balls out with all the tactics they can use. They'll put the recce troops out, put in some smoke, get both artillery supporting their attack, and also have reserve artillery. Italians strength 10, shift up 1. British strength 6, they're tipped, and shift down 1. Italians going first. Well, that's 3 hits. The British strength has dropped to 4. Shifted down, and that's no effect. Well done, the Italians. And they're now tipped, along with the artillery. Turn 9, British are making a right hash of this. How are they going to get their 2 objectives as a minimum for their victory? They're halfway through the game. Right, and also it's a reset. 3 dice. They get 3. But I guess it's more of the same. So 1 ops dice for surprise attack for the events. No road movement, obviously. And 1 dice for ops phase. Smoke's very popular today, so the Italians are going to shift down. They're tipped as well. They're on strength 2. And the British are on 18. 4 hits by the British there, which does finish off those Italians. And nothing coming back from them. So finally, Nibeiwa is fallen to the British. Goodness gracious me. I am going to say that the artillery are going to surrender. Nibeiwa is secure. Turn 10, Italians are reset. They get 2. That means they have 5 in their ops file, but you know what? They're not going to do anything. They don't have any manoeuvrability from Tommel West or East. The communications are rubbish, so to be honest, they don't really know what's going on. So we're on to turn 11. 6 ops dice for the British. So they're on 7 ops dice. They've got to get moving for phase 2. So, although it's expensive, they're going to reorganise armour for 2. And they're going to off-road. Can I do 2 events? I'll have to check that. Yes, I can. So it's another 2 ops dice for off-road, which means that the 5th Indian Brigade is on the move, and the remnants of 11 Indian Brigade are going to see what they can do to support the attack. So where the Fusiliers go. We get the Rajputs moving, they haven't really been affected so far. And the Rajputanas. And finally, what's left of the Matildas from 7 RTR. They'll come over here. Turn 11. Time is running out for the British. Italians building up their ops file. They get another 6. Don't think they can have that many. And there we go. We've got a full ops file of 10. Like I say, they can't do anything at the moment. So we're on to turn 12. 6 for the British. British now got 9 ops dice. I'll tell you what, I haven't played this one before. I'm going to do intercepted signals for the event. 1 ops dice. Wrong, 3 ops dice. Ooh, it was a bit cheeky. and I can move one untipped enemy unit and make a legal road move with it. So these chaps here are off. And we're into the tactical phase. 5th Indian Brigade will move up. Matilda's are going to manoeuvre over here. And I think the Rajputanas will come over here as well. And these chaps will just nudge up. And that's the end of turn, but look at this. Old Tummer West is being surrounded by the British. Massive overmatch here. Well, it's turn 13. The Italians have a full ops file, so there's no point in rolling for them. But what's good for the goose is good for the gander. So they are going to play intercepted signals as well. 3 ops dice for that. And I'm afraid, Matildas, you've got lost in the desert, and away you go. So poor map reading by the adjutant of 7RTR means that they've got lost in the desert. Turn 14, British ops dice is 6, good roll. Full ops file of 10, they've really got to get shifty on and attack Tummer West. So straight to the tactical phase for 1 ops dice. Recce, reserve artillery and smoke being played, and both 25-pounder units will be in support. Well, talk about overkill here. British have a strength of 40 and 1 shift up. They're attacking first. That is 6 hits. 1's absorbed by that. This unit is smashed. They have strength 1 left. And will fight back. But funny old thing, don't do anything. I don't think they could anyway. And that is it. The British are tipped and they do not take the ground. Italians are holding on. Turn 15, Italians. Another 4. They've got a full file of 10 ops dice now. I think they'll just play it safe at the moment. 1 ops dice for a tactical phase. They're going to move one of these chaps over here to support the lonely company there. And I think that's about it. They've got no offensive capability per se. I probably forgot to give them the artillery last time, but I don't think it would have made any difference. Right, final turn at 16. One last chance for the British to snatch victory. Can they do it? They're doing a reset. And they get 3 more ops. So they're on 9. I guess in the event stage we can do surprise attack for 1 ops dice and 1 for tactical phase, and let's see what tactics they can use when they get in there. The final fling. Realistically, to take Tummer West, they've got to destroy both of those Italian battalions. Therefore, Fusiliers will be attacking there. They'll be supported by the Punjab regiment. The 4th, 6th Rajputana rifles will be attacking here, and they'll be supported by the 1st, 6th Rajputana rifles. I think that's probably about it. Now let's look at some tactics. Airstrike going in, along with Recce and smoke. Divisional artillery will be supporting, and also for the Italians, their artillery is going to be supporting. British will be strength 27, 1 shift up, and striking first because of Recce. 6 hits. Well, can you believe it? That has actually done them in wrong. We've got the defensive positions absorbing 1. So one of them goes. He's down to 1. So that attack has failed. British are tipped. Let's just see what damage came back on them. Strength 4, 1 shift down, was actually no effect. But they're still there. And moving over to the other attack here. Smoke and reserve artillery from the British. And the Italians play concealed positions. 25 for the British with the 25-pounders involved. 1 shift up. And 4 for the Italians. 5 hits on the Italians, which means that they are gone. No defensive positions to save them there. Nothing coming back on the British. So they're in the camp, but they haven't secured it. Well, there we have it. The British have failed to secure 2 objectives within 16 turns. They spent too long fighting over Nibeiwa, and the Italians did a good rearguard action there. But over to the north on Tummer West, although they nearly got there is an isolated Italian company holding on for grim death with their artillery support. And clearly to the east is still there. Oh dear, the British made a mess of that, and they'll have to go away and lick their wounds. But well done the Italians. Good fun. And I'm afraid Old matey there, Matilda, the adjutant, is going to have an interview without coffee.